Hey MotoAmerica fans, this is Max Flinders. Make sure you go to MotoAmerica YouTube channel and subscribe, comment, like. If you see me, definitely put a thumbs up.
It's time for the MotoAmerica AMA FIM North American Road Race Championship from Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta in Braselton, Georgia. It's our first round of 2021, the MotoAmerica Superbikes at Atlanta. Hello everyone and welcome to the Supersport Show. I'm Greg White, standing alongside two-time champion Jason Pridmore. Now Jason, we were treated to a spectacular race yesterday with Richie Escalante leading early, but then it was Sean Dillon Kelly who stole the show.
Yeah, we saw Richie Escalante fall in second qualifying, destroy his bike. The crew put that bike back together, and at the beginning of the race, he was obviously very racy. You'd expect these two guys to do similar to what they did last year, and you can see here, Greg, both of those guys got to the front early. They started to pull away from each other. This was before the red flag. We had a red flag in this race because of an incident down in turn one. After the red flag came, though, these two guys picked right back up where they started and went after each other. It was one small mistake right here by Richie Escalante down in the turn 12 area. Sean Dillon Kelly was able to get through. Escalante kind of stayed there. Made a couple of mistakes, though, Greg, that going into the turns, didn't look like the Kawasaki was as stable as the Suzuki. Sean Dillon Kelly was able to capitalize on that, start to pull away, and at the end of the race, you could see the gap that he had.
Yeah, and we call that a checkout. And in third place was Nolan Lampkin, and he caught up with Hannah Lopa to talk about his first podium.
Greg, yesterday marked the 56th professional start for Nolan Lampkin in the Supersport class, including Super Stock 600 starts, and his career first podium. Nolan, amazing job yesterday. How was your race?
Overall, it was pretty good. We had a pretty good start. There was some mix-up off the get-go, and we were able to get ourselves in a position. I saw the people out in front of me, and I'm like, all right, this is the best chance I've ever had, so I got to close this gap, and slowly started working it down, and then I think I had a 2-second gap at the end. Overall, it was a lot of fun, and I'm super excited.
Now you're setting the bar awfully high for yourself coming out the gate, first race of the season on the podium. Do you think you can replicate that result today or for the rest of the season?
So my goal with everything isn't necessarily you can finish third, but I was 20 seconds back or whatever yesterday. The goal for me is just to continue to close that gap to the front, and if I end up 10th or if I end up second, it doesn't really matter for me. It's getting to the front and doing what I need to do, not necessarily focusing on all the external stuff.
Well, best of luck out there today. Guys?
Jason, I think that's a great attitude.
Unbelievable, yeah. I mean, when you're a young guy like that and you see him get on the podium, he's been around for a while, and for Nolan to do that, I think those are very, very good goals.
For class rookie Rocco Landers, he had an unusual incident where he crashed out of this race, Jay.
Yeah, really unusual. You got to remember, Rocco for the last 2 years in MotoAmerica has been the guy in the classes that he's raced. Now he's got a whole nother level of guys he's got to get used to riding around, guys that are not going to be intimidated by what's going on with Rocco's program. But this kid will bounce back. This is only, Greg, the second time that we've seen Rocco not finish a race. So he made his Supersport debut yesterday, long awaited. We've been waiting for that. He's had 45 podiums and 47 starts, 3 championships the last 2 seasons.
Unbelievable.
So seeing him make a small mistake like that yesterday just proved that he's human.
His only other DNF, his rookie season in Junior Cup. Amazing. Well, Jason, that's Rocco Landers. He gets another shot at it, and these riders get to check out Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta. A spectacular course.
Great circuit, and you can see turn 1. That's where Rocco's demise was yesterday. He's going to get past that today, Greg, and do a little bit better, I feel. Turns 2, 3, 4, very one-lined, all the way down to the famous turn 5. Get out of turn 7 good. We'll see a lot of passing down in turn 10 and 11. Now, where Richie Escalante's bike didn't look as good to me yesterday was going down into 10 and into 12. We'll see if he's made any of those adjustments to make his bike better before he gets to that finish line.
I'm sure the champ and his crew did the work overnight. Richie Escalante looking to bounce back after yesterday's defeat. Can he do it? That's what we're here to find out.
We'll find out if Richie Escalante, Sean Dillon Kelly go at it head-to-head, because we're at the MotoAmerica Championship at Atlanta. This is a great course, a fast course. My buddy Roger Hayden got to take a lap around this facility on one of Kyle Wyman's practice bike. He was out there on Ducati Panigale V4. And let me say, Roger, you're looking pretty darn good. Let's take a look.
Here we go with the Ducati fast lap at Road Atlanta. Roger Hayden. braking hard with turn 1. A little careful for the bump. You'll see the superbike guys will keep it a little bit tight. And then this part of the track, the trickiest part, especially when you're behind somebody, trying to see them get through that chicane is difficult. And this turn 5, you can get in here really fast with all the camera. It's also fun to do a wheelie over this hill. Turn 6. And now the most important corner. Turn 7, leading onto the back straightaway. Here we go, baby. Someone's got to talk to the team. Oh. Best passing zone right here, turn 10. 10B. If you haven't made a pass to win the race, the last chance is coming up. This downhill really pushes you in. And that's the Rocco Road Atlanta.
Unbelievable. Roger Hayden, man, we had talked about, hey, I wanted you to do one thing for me, and I said, please talk down that back straightaway, and you did it, and I could hear you in your voice.
It was so hard to talk and ride at the same time, because also trying to do that voiceover lap, I want to go fast enough where, you know, it can kind of explain it a little bit so it looks good for the TV, but it was not easy to talk and ride.
Michael, when he was running around on the Zuma, I mean, he was talking his mouth off. I mean, you had no problems.
My suit might fit him for the next one if he wants to jump on it.
That would be good. Robbie Floyd, Michael Hill, as well as Roger Hayden in the booth here. We turn it over to the guys next door here in just a bit. The Supersport coming up. Predictions, guys? Who do you think is going to be the one?
We were just talking about that, me and Roger, just when I came back into the booth. Got to say, my prediction would be, I think, Richie.
Richie Escalante, what about you?
Sean looked really strong yesterday. His race pace was amazing.
Yeah, and his qualifying time was 3/10 better than Escalante, too. SDK, I think you got to go with him again, but don't count out that Black Honda spike. And Rocco Landers, what does he have in the tank?
Today's Supersport coverage is sponsored by Geico Motorcycle. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on your car or motorcycle insurance. And by Dunlop, the official tire of the MotoAmerica Championship Series.
Welcome back. Motorcycles on their warm-up lap for the Supersport race number 2, which gives us a chance to take a look at the starting grid. Jason Pridmore on pole, Sean Dillon Kelly, Richie Escalante, and Rocco Lander.
And then we got Benjamin Smith, another guy caught up in that first turn stuff yesterday, came back and had a good ride. Mesa, who we didn't get to see at all, Xavier Zayat, is going to be 6th. Mesa, again, caught up in that incident in turn 1 as well yesterday. Max Angles Fernandez, Nolan Lampkin, our third place guy from yesterday, Lockoff. Then we got Minster, Thermiotis, and Liam Grant. We'll see if those two guys are actually in it, meaning Grant and Nate Minster. Then we got Soltis on back through Zaragoza, Miller, Nolde, Ivy, Blockall, and Petrati there in row number 8.
Let's get right down to Hannah Lopa.
Yesterday's race winner, Sean Dillon Kelly, is having an incredibly consistent start to the season. And when I caught up with him to talk about if he feels any added sense of pressure to continue to perform or to fight for this championship, he said not so much pressure, but there's two different sides to things. On one side, he is so happy that he was able to win the race in the way that he won yesterday, and he's dreamed about doing that and visualized doing that. So he wants to celebrate, but on the other side of things, he knows that there's so much work left to be done and that it is early days. So, you know, I think he's got a lot on his mind on the grid, but he's been working on his mindset heading into this season. He's calm and collected, and he's ready to try and replicate those results again. But let's get over to Jamie with more on our defending champion. Jamie?
Well, Hannah, the defending champion is Richie Escalante. He starts the race in the second position today, right where he finished the race yesterday. But he said for him, he needs to just calm down. He needs to take a little bit of a deep breath. On Friday, he had a big off. They had to rebuild the bike from the ground up, and he was not mentally ready for the challenge of the race. He said today, he's refocused. He's physically a little bit tired, but he's ready for the challenge. He's ready to take that step back and just let everything fall into place. Greg.
All right, thanks, Jamie. Jason,
it does take something out of you when you fall off in qualifying yesterday morning and you watch your crew build the bike. Everything just feels rushed, and sometimes you get to the line just on pure adrenaline, and then all of a sudden you got a guy like SDK that you got to go out and beat, and it gets a little bit mentally exhausting. So hopefully you got a good night's sleep, and we'll see these two going at it. I'm really excited to see Rocco Lander starting from that front row again also.
Yeah, Jay, you know, the motorcycles are the motorcycles, tires are tires, but when it comes down to it, to get up front, a lot of it has to do with what's going on between the riders' ears. Rocco Lander's hoping for a better start in this race than he had yesterday. It's time to get things going. Revs are up. We're amped. Race number 2 for Supersport. Getting ready to get underway when these lights go out. To turn 1 we go, and who's going to have the whole shot? Sean Dillon Kelly.
And a tremendous start from the number 37, Stefano Mesa. You can see him there right in the middle of your screen. He's going to slot into second. Looks like Zayat's going to get third. Escalante shuffled back to fourth. This is a dream scenario right now for SDK as he gets a shot through the S's on the first lap all alone.
M4X Star Suzuki, Sean Dillon Kelly, race winner from yesterday, trying to set the pace early. Number 37, Stefano Mesa, on that Mesa 37 Racing Kawasaki ZX6R in second spot.
Yeah, and Escalante is already feeling a little bit hustled back there in fourth because he's trying to get by Zayat through the S's as they went down into turn 5. Wasn't able to do it. Let's see if he can do anything down into turn 6. He can't. That said, Mesa has closed the gap already. Mesa did no laps in this race yesterday, and that could come back later on in the race to bite him. But right now, Mesa pushing that at the front, and he'll be well into the draft of SDK as they go down the back straightaway the first time.
Screaming middleweight sport bikes down the back straightaway at Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta. And who's got the horsepower, who's got the gearing? As Mesa in the draft of Sean Dillon Kelly. As they peel off into turn number 10. It'll be processional. Oh, looks like Ben Smith aggressive there. So the 88 and the 24, Xavier Zayat going after it. But Sean Dillon Kelly still leading the way. How great is this first lap from Stefano Mesa?
It's a great first lap. He doesn't need to look back, though, Greg. He's got to know that these guys are right behind him. We've seen it Mesa the last few years in our Stock 1000 championship. He decided this year that the 1000 he had wasn't quite ready, so he brought his 636 here. We saw him at Indy last year, put it on the podium there in the 600 Supersport category as well, and he's well in the mix now. Benjamin Smith, another guy yesterday who he actually got run off into the grass. We've seen Benjamin qualify really well in the past, as well as this weekend. He's going to run a solid Ford. Zayat, if you remember, was right up front yesterday and ran off in turn 12 on his opening lap, and we never saw him restart. So we got 5 guys right now at the front.
Richie Escalante looking to make a move around Mesa. He does, so the number 1 plate, a nice up the inside move into turn number 6. Trying to make sure that Sean Dillon Kelly doesn't get too much daylight between himself and SDK 40. Honos Racing Team down the back straightaway with that Kawasaki ZX6. Escalante with a great drive, and side by side they go. Escalante to the lead by a wheel. On the brakes they go. Sean Dillon Kelly, this is where he excelled, and it looks like the 88's going around the 37 as well.
We got a red flag, Greg, somewhere, obviously, because these guys are, we're looking at monitors here, but we can see these guys getting their legs up very, very early. So we got a red flag situation somewhere on track.
So red flag comes out. That means all racing stops. And it looks like,
I'm trying to see, Greg. Yeah, I can see it. It looks like, is that Blackall? Possibly. He's up and he's okay.
Yeah, I think it said that on the back of his leather, so he's okay.
Yeah, he's all right.
Fans screaming for him here at Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta. A tremendous crowd out to watch racing on a beautiful Sunday. So into the pits they go. Rules are you can change anything on the bike, add fuel, do whatever you need to do except tires. Tires cannot be touched. So tire warmers will go on. See if we can see this incident, Jason.
Oh, yeah, he just gets bucked up out of the seat as he exited turn 5. And the reason for the red flag will be because this bike will probably come to rest in the middle of the racetrack. And just getting the corner workers out there, it's good to see. Looks like Tony's up and okay. But the fact that the bike is sliding down the middle of the racetrack, it's more of a fear of being able to get the bike out of the way before the whole grid comes back around.
Yeah, you can see he was hoping there was no one behind him. He was signaling to any rider that might be coming over the crest of turn 5. All right, we'll get this red flag sorted out in a moment. We'll be back to Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta in a moment.
Well, as you can see, we're under a red flag condition for race number 2 of the Supersport. And the AMA and FIM officials out there, we saw the course workers throwing some track dry down there, and they're trying to make sure that that is swept up and wiped off, and there is no imperfections to the surface. Robbie Floyd, Michael Hill, and Roger Hayden with you here. And it looked like Tony Blackhall, the rider that did go off.
Yeah, it looks like Tony stepped up. He's perfectly okay. Looks like he got a nice round of applause from the crowd as he got to his feet. And just watching these pictures, both myself and Roger, we're going to audition for the Corner Worker Dancer of the Year competition at the next round.
I'll judge it. Y'all do it.
Well, a dance off.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Hey.
you might have me there.
Well, it looks like they're going to have a 15-lap race. We saw that dropped off, and I'm sure it's probably going to be a complete restart. We'll find out, sure, from the guys next door.
So back at Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta under red flag conditions for Supersport. And you can see that we are waiting for the race information. Let's get right down to Jamie Howe, who's on pit lane.
Yeah, we're less than 2 minutes to where riders are back on the bikes to go back out there, Greg. But for Richie Escalante, we talked about how you needed to take a step back. You needed to refocus yourself, calm down a little bit. At that start, getting to see the racetrack, where are you mentally right now?
Yeah, you know, I'm feeling a little bit better to compare yesterday. I have more confidence. I not start so good, so I need to improve that. I don't like when it's red flag, but the most important is the rider crashes, okay? So, yeah, it's the same for everybody. So it's time to start better and let's go for the win. Thanks to my team, it's an amazing job. I again feeling to the same to compare last year, so I'm very proud of my guys, and yeah, I'm ready for the start again.
You said you want to improve the start this time around. How do you do that?
Yeah, well, I need to concentrate a little bit more and yeah, more relaxing. I take this race with more calm, you know, not so aggressive, and it's 15 laps right now, so it's time to work and we'll see what happens.
I can't imagine this mental state, guys. Be calm, stay aggressive. Oh, and it's a 15-lap shootout.
Yeah, I mean, that's just, I don't know how to explain it. It's just kind of the balance, exactly.
Yeah, it's a balance.
It's definitely.
All the Danilo Lewis boys up on the truck.
Yeah, and Hannah's still working down there as well. Hannah, what do you got?
Warmers are coming off these bikes. The officials just gave the signal they can regrid. It's going to be a quick start procedure. Again, like Jamie said, 15 laps. I caught up with Sean Dillon Kelly really quickly. I said, where are you at right now? Kind of same thing as Richie Escalante. He said, not my best start, not my worst start. So he just really wants to make better use of that first lap, especially to set the tone for the rest of the race. You know, he really likes to set the pace and he likes to lead where he can.
He got a really good start. Like
when you're leading up the hill and you've created a little bit of a gap, that's definitely something. Let's have a look back, Greg, to what we saw. This incident. It's pretty easy to do. You know, Greg, to me, almost looks like maybe Tony had something leaking from his bike or something, because he had the bike almost completely upright and it spit him off. And we saw them doing a lot of cleanup out there. Now that doesn't mean that couldn't happen once that bike was sliding along the ground as well. But it looked fairly pedestrian, that crash. Didn't look like he did a lot wrong. There wasn't a lot of lean angle there.
The famous S's here at Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta, and really just the bottom part of your screen is where that turn 5 area is. Top of your screen, the top of the hill, that's where they were cleaning it up. So quick start procedure, Jason, explain that.
Got a quick start procedure. So they've been released from pit lane. They're going to go out and they're going to do one sighting lap here, not unlike what we saw before. The only difference is when they get back to the grid, there'll be one person standing there waiting from their crew. Everybody will come to a stop. There you go. I'll have one person from each team. And once they get to their starting grid spot and they've come to a stop, the MotoAmerica officials will get this race kind of going pretty quickly. They'll be out on a warm-up lap. It looked like, Greg, a couple things I noticed. A couple good things, I should say. Nate Minster is back in the race. He wasn't here yesterday. He had an incident, as well as Liam Grant. So I'm happy to see Liam back out there. Again, he's another one of our Junior Cup guys that jumped up into this category this year. Had a little bit of bad luck yesterday. Was a little bit beat up. They got the bike back together, but he wasn't quite ready to go yesterday. So he's back here today. So it'll be good 15-lap experience for him. He can put that in his pocket as they both those kids actually as they roll off to VIR in a couple weeks.
Now, because we had only done a lap or so around this Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta course, the reason that we do this quick start procedure is if we were in a situation where we were, say, 5 laps deep into the race, they would completely reset the grid for us based on based on the order that you were in after the last completed lap by everyone. So this quick start procedure, everything's just going to check out, and then so that's the sighting lap. Then we're going to let them get going again. If you're near the front straightaway, you can hear those horns a-blowing, so the crew's going to get off the racetrack, and we're going to get things going. So now it's time for the warm-up lap, and then we'll grid and go one more time.
Rocco's really having trouble getting this bike off the line. Probably, again, it's a lot different than the bikes that he's been riding the last few years. And I know he's had some time on the R6 because we've seen him been riding it out in California a bit, but just been struggling getting it off the line a little bit.
The other thing, too, Jason, is that there are some electronics that are on these middleweight sport bikes. And in Rocco's case, and speaking with Stoney Landers, his dad and crew chief, they haven't even worked on anything electronics. All they're still working on with Rocco is the baseline settings on geometry, on suspension. So they are, further behind than a lot of their competition in this field.
No question. They're at their infancy at this, and we forget how young Rocco still is. So, but that just seems to be right now. I noticed yesterday he was, when you get into incidents like he did yesterday, coming from the front row, and you've got 6-7 guys already kind of around you or in front of you going into turn 1, that's because you're not getting the best launch. And we noticed that even on this last start, he wasn't anywhere really to be seen in as far as those first 5 guys that had started to break away. We know Rocco's got the pace to go, but he wasn't close enough because of the start he got.
A couple things to note on Rocco. You mentioned his dad, Stoney, as crew chief. Remember, they're also still running a junior program with Ben Glady on their bike. So he is actually doing double duty. It's the first race weekend that he's having to do double duty. So there's a lot of moving parts over at Landers Racing right now. For Rocco, I asked him where his mindset was at after he had that off yesterday. We saw the highlight or the low light video in his case of him pounding on the wall and how upset he was. He said, listen, I'm young. I race the exact same way every time. I don't feel any pressure. I'm not old enough to feel any pressure. So his head was still on straight this morning, and he saw all the confidence that we're used to seeing from Rocco Landers.
I don't know why that one made me laugh. I'm not old enough to feel any pressure.
Well, he hasn't.
I like
He's
that.
won 3 championships already, but this is just this is going to be a new category for him and a whole new experience. So he needs to really get these laps. That's going to be the most important thing for him right now. Going and doing a bunch of club racing and reflecting on his past here in MotoAmerica is all great, but when you jump up a category and you're racing against the likes of Escalante and Sean Dillon Kelly and some of the other guys that have been here for a few years, even the Stefano Mesas, Benjamin Smiths, it's a different group of guys you're going to be riding around, and he's just got to get used to. He's got to get used to that.
Bikes forming up onto the grid right now, into their positions as we await start number 2 of race 2 of Supersport here at Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta. Stefano Mesa had a really good start from that middle of the second row position. So Sean Dillon Kelly looking to improve on his starts, as well as Richie Escalante. Revs are going up, 100% focused on those lights. Here we go. Lights are off. Sean Dillon Kelly with a good launch. Richie Escalante tries to get right behind Sean Dillon Kelly to get some draft. As we peel it off into turn number 1, it's going to be SDK, M4X Star Suzuki, and Honos Racing Team's Richie Escalante 1-2 at the top of the hill.
Yep, and again, we saw SDK get off to a good jump here. Escalante, though, like you say, Greg, more in his wheel tracks, a little bit more focus on that start. Rocco, again, not the best start. I think he's back there, and where's he at, Greg? Probably 7th. I can see him back there behind Max Angles. Max, easy bike to pick out. That fluorescent yellow is very, very simple to see. But now the 2 guys at the front are the 2 guys that these guys are going to be chasing. Mesa and Zayat have made the jump with them.
And I can tell from Richie Escalante's body position and the way the bike's moving around that he is definitely more calm, as he mentioned. So through turn 7, now they're going to get on that long drag strip down the back straightaway. And there's, boy, a half a wheel between the two leaders. And Richie Escalante pulls out of the draft of Sean Dillon Kelly. They're side by side. Escalante will have position. But who's going to be late on the brakes down into 10A? Sean Dillon Kelly has position now into 10A, and he gets the spot. So SDK back to the lead as they come out from underneath the bridge, over the hill, and down into the final corner.
This is great for Stefano Mesa. He's going early with him. I think that when you're on new tires, you got to take advantage of that. If he can get away from that pack behind him, although he's got Zayat behind him, the guy that lost out a little bit after that restart is going to be Benjamin Smith on the 88. He was able to go up underneath angles in turn 7, but he ran down the back straightaway on his own, pushing his own air. So he's got to try to hustle it a little bit to get up to the back of Zayat and hope that these guys in front, these first 3, don't continue to just kind of slip away.
Scheduled for 15 laps in this one. The restarted race down through the S's. Jason and I both are just having a good long look at Richie Escalante's Kawasaki to see what it looks like as he transitions that bike back and forth. You can see Escalante a little wheelie over the hill. That was what Sean Dillon Kelly was plagued with a little bit. Wheelies over turn 5 yesterday, and that time it looked relatively planted.
I just felt yesterday that SDK's bike was so good as he did that last little part of his braking and released the lever. The bike wasn't backing in. It was very smooth. And that's where we're going to watch Escalante's bike, as he's able to draft back past Sean Dillon Kelly down the back straightaway. Escalante does that, but he went so early that it's allowed SDK to kind of get back in the draft and position himself as they come down into turn 10.
Ooh, how do you like that? They were so close side by side. Escalante had a moment on the front end and was not able to get position as he transitioned it back through 10A to 10B and out of 10B. So Escalante loses about 5 bike lengths.
And he misses up turn 12 again. That's the problem, Greg. It's whatever's going on with Richie. There's some things going on when he starts to break deep and he wants to get into the corners a little bit deeper. He can't get the bike slowed, so the bike starts to back around and he wants to release the lever, but the bike's not ready to go the direction it does, and it bucks him back out of the seat. Now he's behind Mesa. This could be a break for SDK.
Oh, man, and that was all racecraft by Sean Dillon Kelly as we take a look at the replay. Watch the front end of the number 1. See that?
It just starts to move around a little bit because he's trying to let go of the lever, Greg, but the bike just has so much movement, and it's even worse when he gets down into turn 12. Now you can see he's impatient going down into turn 5. He's trying to get by Stefano Mesa. That's allowed Zayat and Benjamin Smith to close up onto the back of him even more so.
So Escalante trying to hold on to that calm mindset. Really difficult after making a couple of tiny little errors, that when you do that with Sean Dillon Kelly in his mindset for 2021, the M4X Star Suzuki rider makes you pay for it.
That's exactly right. He's able to get back by Mesa. Benjamin Smith there going or trying to go past on the inside as they come down the hill. And look who's just starting to lurk back there. Rocco Landers is made up from that horrendous start. This kid starts getting his starts a little bit better, Greg, and he's going to be up front. It's going to make his job a lot easier, but he's able to run these guys down. Last lap by 29.4 for Rocco, 29.4 also for Mesa that last lap by. So as they come across this time, it's going to be a good lap for Rocco Landers. He's now in the draft to Zayat as they go down the front straightaway.
Sean Dillon Kelly at 28.8, fastest lap of the race. Now with 1.6 seconds over Escalante. And how about Rocco making moves early on? The Rocco Landers we know from Junior Cup and Twins Cup, getting after it right now and moves himself into the top 5.
Yep, he does, and now it's just that continuous roll forward. Just start clicking these guys off one at a time. This is all going to be a good race experience for Rocco right now on this 600.
Up over the wheelie hill in turn 5, you can see Rocco adjusting his body position, now using his size. Replay on the left. This is down the hill.
And you can see here, you can see the bike is out of shape already. So Richie just can't turn the bike. So it's going to cause him to run wide really, really early, which affects his drive. That allows Mesa to go through.
That's really heads-up riding by Mesa. He kind of saw that unfold, and instead of using all the racetrack, look how far inside he is.
But that's smart. That's a veteran move there. You know, you got to allow the guy. If you see a guy running a little bit wide, you want to give him a little bit of room to get back onto the track. You don't want to squeeze him to the point where you have the ability to make contact with him and then ruin both your races.
But since then, Richie Escalante has gathered it back up. Mesa now sitting in third, and the 88 of Benjamin Smith is in a good position for a podium as well, Hannah.
Yeah, I just wanted to touch on Mesa again. You know, despite his young age, he's been at this racing game a long time. He's got a lot of experience on all different kinds of bikes that I think will be really beneficial to him in this race. Something that speaks to his character, though, was the decision to bring Xavier Zayat into the team when he found himself without a ride earlier this season. Yes, you know, Mesa wants wins and he wants success, but he also wants to give back to the sport.
No, it's great, and you're exactly right. He comes from a great family as well. So now you can see SDK is 1.8 out in front, runs the fastest lap of the race, a 28.5. This guy, Richie Escalante, is going to keep his head down and keep trying to go forward. Mesa and Smith battling over third. We'll see if Rocco can bridge that gap. He's gotten a little bit of a breakaway there from Zayat, you can see behind him.
Mesa into turn number 6, a little sideways. You can see the size difference these riders in this middleweight sport bike. The 88 of Benjamin Smith, one of our taller riders in this Supersport field. Down the back straightaway they come. And it's Kawasaki versus Yamaha. Smith pulls out of the draft. Does he have enough slingshot to get by him? He does for the moment, but watch Mesa on the brakes. He's going to let him have it for the moment. Smith is in to 10A nice and deep. You can see the front end of that Yamaha working.
Rocco was in deep there too, but he got it nice and controlled as well, Greg. But yeah, Benjamin Smith, tremendous job drafting by Mesa down that back straightaway and really good on the brakes.
Yeah, but the problem with getting sucked into 10A like that is you don't get the right positioning to get the drive out of 10B. And so Rocco is 2 bike lengths now. He's 3 or 4 back. That one really hurts you. That's a disciplined area, and it can be a hold your breath kind of a pass situation going into 10A. A key component of when those corners went into Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta a number of years ago. Sean Dillon Kelly, M4X Star Suzuki, 128.6, only a 10th off of his fastest lap set the lap before, leading Escalante by 1.7 seconds on that Honos Racing team.
That came down by a 10th that lap, Greg. So Richie Escalante, he ends up going 28.5 to actually trim that gap just a little. So we're going to continue to watch through that first split. Escalante's knocked another 10th off. So he's doing his best, and that's how it's got to happen. There's enough laps in this race where Escalante, if he can just kind of chip away through each one of these sectors, he can try to get himself there by the end of the race, Greg. So looking back a little bit further, Benjamin Smith is just starting to peel away from Stefano Mesa as they head down the back straightaway. Stefano, I don't think is going to be quite close enough. He's going to feel the draft, but it's not going to be till really late, Greg, as you can see, starting to suck back up onto the back of Benjamin Smith, but right as they get to the braking zone. So Benjamin's going to hold him off as they go down into turn 10.
Glenmore, Pennsylvania, Smith on that Northeast Cycle Outlet Racing Yamaha R6, holding off a nice move by Stefano Mesa to get a good launch off the start and put himself in a position for a podium. But now Mesa's got to go to school on Smith, trying to figure out where he'll be able to make the move. Smith seems like he is really strong on the brakes. All the while, Rocco Landers just trying to claw his way into the draft of the 2 in front of him. Rocco carrying a tremendous amount of speed into turn number 1. That almost looked like that 400.
Yes, you can see it. And then one of the biggest things, and we heard Rocco talk about it, as he's closed the gap down through the top there, is, you know, he's coming from Twins Cup bikes, he's coming from Junior Cup bikes, bikes that you can open up the arc of the corners a lot more on the entries, and now he's on a bike a little bit heavier, more horsepower. He needs to take advantage of what the horsepower can give him. So he talked a lot about straight lining things a lot more and squaring corners up a little bit more. But like you can see, Greg, the amount of distance he's using as he goes up the hill out of turn 1, he's a lot further over to the left, which means he's probably getting on the gas early, but the bike and the horsepower is pushing him out to the left, where these other guys are getting the bike turned and straight lining it up that hill just a little bit more.
Stefano Mesa having a look over his shoulder, concerned about what's going on behind him, Jamie.
He's also concerned, Greg, about what's going on with himself as these laps tick away. Keep notice of his body language. He was actually cleared unfit to race today following the incident yesterday. You mentioned he didn't turn a lap. He was collected in Rocco Landers' incident, pulled it aside to pit lane, and he was in a lot of pain. He has pain on the top of his foot, on the back of his leg. He came back to the racetrack this morning, went back to the MotoAmerica medical staff and said, look, I think I'm okay. I feel a lot better today. So they did go ahead and clear him to race, but he is still in a lot of pain.
Yeah, it's funny what adrenaline does for you, Jamie. You know, you go away Saturday night thinking, oh, my weekend's probably done. You wake up and you want to kind of give it a run. And you can see there's that line difference a little bit between Rocco and the other two going up the hill. Just a quick word, the guys up front, Sean Dillon Kelly has responded with the quickest lap of the race, a 28.4, while this battle keeps on going back for third spot. Rocco's able to close these guys back down. Now he's got to just try to get to close enough as they come out of turn 7 to try to be on the back of Benjamin Smith, get a good drive, and draft down that back straightaway. This is the closest I've seen Rocco to Benjamin in a few laps.
Rocco initially had a good drive up over turn number 5, but still there's a couple bike lengths between them. We're watching the battle for third place. Number 37, Stefano Mesa, is leading the way over Benjamin Smith on the 88 and Rocco Landers on the 97. Rocco Landers, really his first real race here as a rookie in the class, coming off of 3 national championships in 2 seasons in MotoAmerica competition. Benjamin Smith looking to be aggressive on the brakes, down the hill again. He does. He gets around Mesa. He'll take over third spot. So those two going after it. That's going to help Rocco Landers. When riders in front of you are battling, oftentimes they can slow each other down just a little bit. So Landers right now is totally in school. I mean, Rocco is just learning as much as he can, watching the riders in front of him. And if I know Rocco Landers, he's trying to craft an area where he's going to start making moves. We have 7 to go in this one with Sean Dillon Kelly out front, 2.6 seconds over Richie Escalante. And then this battle for third led by the 88 of Benjamin Smith. And behind them, Sam Lockoff, another rookie over Nolan Lampkin, a podium finisher from yesterday, and Nate Minster, 7th, 8th, and 9th. What a battle.
And when you think about it, both Mesa and Rocco, Rocco got spit up out of the seat. He's going to run a little bit wide at the bottom of the S's. That's coming down the hill. Off camber, right-hander coming down that hill, Greg. And I could see it just start to get a little sideways on him, and he stood the bike up. Now he's got to rework and try to catch back up to these guys again. I was just saying that the disadvantage for both Mesa and Rocco yesterday is they didn't get the 15 laps under their belt that everybody else got. So this is like first race for them. So, then you can see that gap now just opened up a lot for Rocco there between Mesa and Benjamin Smith. So he's probably some 2 seconds off that podium battle now between these two guys here.
Can't even guess the pain that the 37 is in from yesterday that Jamie told us about. But with all the focus on the 88, Stefano Mesa on the brakes. It's just going to hang back for now, Jason. And that's the thing. If you had this kind of pain that Mesa's in and you were all by yourself, more difficult or a little bit easier to deal with it because your focus is all on the rider in front of you?
At this point, I think that you just have focus right now. You're not really thinking it. You've learned to ride around whatever disability you might have. It doesn't seem to be slowing Stefano that much as it is. He's got a ton of experience, and he'll look at it like, hey, 6 laps to go. What's 6 laps the rest of my life? I've got plenty of time to let this thing heal between now and Virginia, whatever might be wrong with it. Let's just grit our teeth and get through it. For Benjamin Smith, you got to remember, too, he's also a MotoAmerica champion from a few years back, Greg, in our Junior Cup category. We've seen him come through on the 600 the last few years, does a lot of stuff with his dad. His dad's biggest supporter right now, which is great. And I don't believe we've seen Benjamin on the podium yet in a 600 race. So he's fighting for his first podium as well. So he's not going to want to give that up very easily.
And Rocco Landers has not recovered yet from that incident and dropped back a little bit. And up front, by the way, Richie Escalante now is 3 full seconds behind Sean Dillon Kelly. So for our leader, SDK, on that M4 X-Star Suzuki, it doesn't look like Escalante's got much fight in him at the moment. We'll see how the closing laps go, but our eyes are focused on this final podium spot, this battle for third place between the 88 Benjamin Smith and Stefano Mesa, as now we have a good look at Sean Dillon Kelly.
This guy's doing exactly everything he needs to do. Just hit his marks. I think SDK, the biggest thing that he's worrying about right now is himself. He just wants to hit his marks. He knows he's going to have a team that's going to put a winning machine underneath him. And all he's doing is just continuing to crank out these 28, mid-28 lap times. Again, pulls away 6/10 on that lap, Greg. His fastest lap of the race is a minute 28.4, and he just ran a 28.5 to pull this gap out now to 3.6 over this man, our defending champion, Richie Escalante.
Wow. So impressive and something to learn if you're a young rider. If you can do a lap time, you should be able to click those off within tenths of a second and have that consistency. And the setup of that M4 X-Star Suzuki matched with these Dunlop tires is being very consistent for Sean Dillon Kelly. A good look at that gap is now extended to 3.6 seconds between the number 40 and the number 1. Lap traffic up ahead for Sean Dillon Kelly as he comes onto the back straightaway. You can see lap traffic, number 61, Austin Miller, has a look over his shoulder. There are blue flags that will fly around the racetrack to indicate to the lapped riders that the leaders are coming through. And you can see all the way over to the right side of the racetrack. Good move to not interfere with the battle. So Escalante not having an answer so far. When Sean Dillon Kelly comes around and crosses the stripe, there'll be 4 laps to go.
Hey, but at the end of the day, this is the first race of the year. Number 1 plate is there for a reason. He's going to try to be as consistent as he can. He's going to have his days where he can run off and try to win a couple of these races as well. SDK is going to try to thwart that as much as he can, obviously. But Escalante is just going to take these 40 points and put them in the bank and head off to Virginia. Now look a little further back. Rocco is really trying hard. I've watched the last couple laps. He's been a little bit quicker each lap through. He's the only guy. This last lap, he goes 30.3, and now Mesa and Benjamin Smith are engaging again. This is going to allow Rocco Landers, who was 7/10 quicker that lap, to continue to bridge this gap to the podium.
I'm sure underneath the helmet of Rocco Landers, he's thinking to himself, come on, guys, keep racing yourselves up. Keep slowing yourselves down because I'm right there. So Landers, he's so quick coming out of turn 1, Jason, and up through the top of turn 2. He's making up tons of time on the 2 in front of him there.
It actually has looked like the last few laps I've seen him go up the hill, he's a little bit narrower going up the hill, which just means that he's cutting some distance off, and he's definitely gotten closer up that hill, and he's really good at the top. I saw he's a little bit careful down through the S's compared to what, because what happened to him a few laps ago. He loses a little time here on the exit of turn 7. That could be a gearing thing or whatever it might be. I just want to see him get close enough because he, the gap at the top of the hill coming down after turn 2, 3, 4 is a lot closer than it is now. So he loses some time from turn 5 to the exit of 7. Then he'll kind of close it all back up here at the end of the back straightaway and through turn 12.
So important for Rocco as he gets in there so deep.
Really deep.
Wow, and it looked like he had more, but he just couldn't get around Benjamin Smith. So Landers is dialed in down the hill. What a sector time for him.
He's just got to be close enough at the end of that back straightaway. He's going to have 2 laps to go now. So now's the time where Rocco's got to start making some moves here on these guys. But he's got to be close enough, Greg, coming out of turn 7 in order to do something with these guys at the end of the back straightaway.
Yeah, that was definitely a dress rehearsal for Rocco Landers to try to see where he was. Break. All right, watch. This is the section where Rocco's really, really good. If he's close enough, he might try to make an inside move. He doesn't do it. Oh, he had a... Jay, that was the distinction in line, wasn't it?
He had a notion there.
Yeah.
It just makes it, the further left you go on the exit of 1 going up that hill, the sharper that top of the hill becomes. We've seen a lot of incidents there this weekend already. So this is where he's got to get a better drive out of here, be as close to these guys as he can, which is perfect right now. And you can see Mesa looking over at Benjamin Smith, but if you start doing that, that number 97 is going to go by both of them. So now he's close enough. This is close enough. Let's see if he can draft Mesa down this back straightaway.
We're, of course, talking about the 97 of Rocco Landers, the 3rd rider in the screen, 3-time national champion.
He's going to get a double draft, too, right now. Mesa's going to be close enough to pull out, I think, on Benjamin Smith, and Rocco's going to be able to get by 1, if not 2 of them down here as they go down into turn 10.
Here comes Landers. Down into turn 10 they come. Rocco's been really strong. Oh, boy, but it's going to be enough real estate for Rocco. That was a learning experience, that triple draft. So Landers has arrived. He's there. Smith now works his way to 3rd spot as we have about 2 laps to go in this one. Who's going to occupy the final spot on the podium? As we know, Sean Dillon Kelly's walked away with it. Richie Escalante, 5 seconds adrift, and then 14 seconds behind Escalante is the battle we're watching.
Yep, and it looks like Benjamin sat up a little bit early there into turn 1. He went in a little bit narrower to block that line. Mesa's going to follow him right up here. And Rocco, all the while, is just making a plan.
He's got to start executing a little bit of his plan now and try to get 1 position as we have about 1 lap and 3/4 to go for this battle.
Tell you what else, Xavier Zayat is trying his best to just get himself on the back of these guys. He's still rolling around at a 30.7. The guys in front of him were 31.5, so he was almost a second. The man in black back there, number 24, you can see him. He's trying to get up onto the back of these 3.
Yeah, I mean, if this battle, this 3-way battle right here ends in tears, Xavier Zayat is going to be there to collect the pieces. Sean Dillon Kelly, M4X Star Suzuki. A good look at his laps and how they've progressed in his race pace, and you can see at lap 6, a 28.420, the fastest lap of the race. for SDK. As he heads to the white flag, he'll have 1 lap to go to walk away with the double in the first race of the season here at Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta. That's how far the lead is to number 2, the battle for third. Landers trying to go up the inside, no room there. Benjamin Smith doing a fantastic job of holding off Stefano Mesa. With the injuries that Mesa has had, what does he have in the tank? He's got to dig deep in this one. Benjamin Smith has got to ride with eyeballs on the back of his head. Not even sure if Smith knows Rocco Landers is there ready to pounce.
Look at Zayat. He's right there, Greg. Honestly, he's gone over a second quicker again than the group in front of him. He's doing everything he can. If he can get on the back of this as they come out of turn 7, he's going to get a triple bike draft.
Wow.
He has made up so much time, has the 24. It's almost like these guys are caught sleeping a little bit. Zayat is there. He's on the back of Rocco Landers now as they come out of turn 5.
Yeah, but he's just got a Rocco Landers away from his teammate, Stefano Mesa.
Yes.
And so what do you do if you're there? Do you make that aggressive move on the guy that helped you get to the races?
Got to go past the boss, don't you? I mean, now Zayat, these guys are going to be shocked because I'm sure on Rocco's board, he's probably been getting +1 and +2. Zayat is there as they head down the back straightaway. But what about this guy? Can't say enough about SDK.
What a race he put together, and it was Racecraft that got him the break. Out of the final corner, M4 X-Star Suzuki, Sean Dillon Kelly with a look over his shoulder and a wheel in the air, takes the checkered flag and victory number 2 of the season. Behind him, Richie Escalante takes the number 1 to 20 points. But here's that battle for third. It's Rocco Landers who got around. Here they come down the hill. Is anybody outbreak Rocco Landers? No, through the final corner, Landers. To the throttle stop. Benjamin Smith off with a problem. And how about Rocco Landers will stand on the podium?
Unreal. I hope we get to see that down into turn 10. Did you see how sideways Benjamin Smith was in the last corner?
What a save by Smith. Wow. Unbelievable. Rocco Landers. Woo. 17 seconds behind. But this guy right here, Sean Dillon Kelly, has had the perfect start to his season. From pole position to 2 victories, M4 X-Star Suzuki rider Sean Dillon Kelly, he's on it. Here's the final downhill
over
run.
The top of the hill. I want you to just have a look. I was looking out the window here, Greg. Watch Ben Smith on that third bike. He gets this thing sideways. Look at this. Look
wow.
at this.
How did he save that?
Oh, Benjamin. That's impressive.
We got to get a sponsor to have the save of the day, and that would be it. Unfortunately for Benjamin Smith, he finishes 6th, but fortunately for Benjamin Smith, he finishes 6th.
Yes, exactly. And that's gut-wrenching for him as it would have been his first podium. But all the action was going down into turn 10, but we were following our leaders as we would have to do there for first and second place.
With that burnout, we're going to step away. When we come back, we're going to hear from Sean Dillon Kelly about his spectacular victory.
Wow, wow, wow. Not that Sean Dillon Kelly and Richie Escalante finished second, but Rocco Landers finished his third. We still didn't get to see that pass. And you can see the jubilation from Sean Dillon Kelly getting it done what he couldn't do too often last year. He's doing this year. And I'm with Greg. And you and I both said it. Benjamin Smith, not our save of the day, the save of the year so far. He crashed. He just didn't go down.
I just don't know how he saved that. I mean, that would have been getting really sideways even if you were flat tracking.
Oh, man, it looked like he was drifting. It looked like he was trying to do one of them front wheel lockups and bring it up. That was unbelievable. Xavier Zayat 5th. I mean, he came from a long way back. Still, I'd love to see what happened, and I don't know if we got it because we only have so many cameras that they were shooting different things. But Rocco Landers, the 97, finishing third, getting by both Stefano Mesa and Ben Smith before he even made it over that crest.
He's about to do a backflip. He did this last year or was it 2 years ago when he won the Junior Cup race?
All right, he could be a YouTube. Yeah,
this
could go wrong.
This has got to be hard after a Supersport race.
Yep, that's what I said. I knew it. I felt it coming. He went backflip to Buttauger.
Still a lot better than I could have done.
Oh, yeah, way better. But I'm saying now he's running more laps. He's got to be a little off on his equilibrium. And also
and
he
tired.
lost. Yeah, that's what I was saying.
But what was impressive about Rocco, I mean, it is impressive he got third, but the way he did it.
Yeah.
Didn't get the greatest start, kind of slid back a little bit, worked his way up, and fell back. With up 5 to go, he made a mistake and turned forward, and we thought he was out of it, slowly chipped away, and put himself in that right spot on the last lap like we've seen him do so many times.
He's got to get better at those starts, though, Raj. I mean, it's killing him right now. And this time, I saw his approach. I watched him. I was watching him specifically, and he did that. I mean, he was letting that clutch out as slow, and people started going by him. And then his mind started ticking, saying, I got to let go of it, and that's when he wheelied.
I don't know if we're going to have to do another race to see if he's really having problems with his starts. Maybe something was just going on this week that they're working on.
Yeah.
But if he wants to challenge this guy,
he's got to do something different.
Escalante, he's going to have to get a better start.
Happy for Rocco. I'm happy for Sean. And you know what? You kind of got to be happy for Richie Escalante. Even though he has 2 seconds, it's not what we're accustomed to seeing from him. But he made it through the weekend, only losing 10 points to Sean Dillon Kelly, and he totally trashed his bike yesterday just before the races in the final qualifying session. So, you know, we expected to see those two up front, and we didn't disappoint. And really, Sean Dillon Kelly, I don't know what all he did in the offseason, but he did something right.
He definitely did, and just, you know, he talks about it all the time. Last year didn't go the way he wanted it. You know, he won some races, was up there toward the front a lot, but he wanted to challenge Richie more often. He's come in this year. But he's just so fast. He's so consistent. Every lap is within a couple tenths, and they're fast laps.
M4X Star Suzuki also. That bike has been proven, won a championship.
That was
good. Rocco Landers in only his second Supersport race, able to make the podium out there. Who knows what could have happened yesterday if he wouldn't have tossed it.
And also he didn't get, this is his first Supersport race. He didn't get a race yesterday.
That's what I'm saying.
To kind of get used to it.
I thought he would have been a top 5. I said it would be like a win if he finished 3rd. Well, this is like a win for Rocco Landers, and you can see the excitement there. But nobody's faster in Supersport this year in 2021 than Sean Dillon Kelly. That M4X Star Suzuki is dialed with him on top of it.
Today's Supersport race coverage has been sponsored by Dunlop, the official tire of the MotoAmerica Championship Series.
A Supersport clinic put on by Sean Dillon Kelly and his M4X Star Suzuki. As you see, we have Suzuki from Kawasaki, from Yamaha. We love seeing the parity, Jason. And yeah, Rocco Landers by 0.2 of a second over Stefano Mesa. Really heartbreaking. Wow, great job by Xavier Zay. Let's get right down to Hannah.
Runner-up to the championship last season, Sean Dillon Kelly had 5 wins for the entirety of the season. This season, he's looking to best that. He's already got 2 in the bank. Sean, how were you able to win by such a large margin of victory?
Yeah, that was amazing. First of all, I love seeing fans here again, man. You guys were awesome today, cheering us on, and honestly, it's nice. You know, this is the atmosphere that we race for. All your energy is awesome, and I thank you all for making this happen. Woo! But honestly, this is amazing. You know, this is what we worked for as a team. Myself back at home this offseason, it was really tough after a really tough 2020 season. But this is what we worked for. I came in better than ever. My team came in better than ever. Thank you guys for making this happen. We worked really hard this weekend, and you know, this is a result. So we're gonna keep on going just like this. You know, we're really strong, so we're just going to keep on fighting. Thank you to my team, M4X Suzuki, my family, everyone back at home. You know who you guys are. I love you all. Thank you, Fresh and Lean. Thank you, Arad. Thank you, everyone. Love you guys.
Double wins this weekend for Sean Dillon Kelly. Guys?
No better start to the season than what SDK was able to pull off, JP.
Yeah, you've almost got 50% of your wins already through the first round, so he's going to be hungry to go. We didn't get to go to VIR last year, so it's going to be a new place to see these guys ride 600s up there for us with SDK and Escalante.
Yeah, it's going to be awfully exciting in our next stop. There's a look at the championship point standings. For winning 2 races, you get 50 total points. And for Escalante, 2 second-place finishes will net you 40. Then there's Benjamin Smith, Sam Lockoff. So the riders behind these two have got some consistency to look at over the course of the next couple of weeks before we end up at Superbikes at Virginia, May 21st through the 23rd. So that'll do it for us for Supersport from Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta. Thanks so much for joining us. For Jamie Howe, Hannah Lopa, Jason Pridmore, I'm Greg White. We hope you enjoyed it. Rocco Landers podium. It's gonna be fun to see what he has at Virginia. See you then.